Hey there, and welcome back to the Jeremy G Show. This is episode 9. On this show, I'm going to answer a question by George. George asks, how do you get out of your comfort zone or face uncertainty? First, I want to make a note and say thank you to my mother, who left a comment, as you can see, quoting Michael Jordan, and talking about how he can accept failure, but he cannot accept not trying. So thank you so much, Mom, for being supportive of the show and giving your opinion. But George, here's what I would say. Just like the Michael Jordan quote suggests, take a step back and think about why you're scared of getting out of your comfort zone. Are you afraid of rejection? Are you scared of failure? Maybe you're scared of success. And really think about what it is that's holding you back and what is keeping you comfortable. That's one thing to consider. My biggest advice for you would be to surround yourself with people who encourage you and constantly get out of their comfort zone. If you hang out with a bunch of people that are not pushing themselves and doing things that scares them, then it's not likely to rub off on you. I'll give you a quick example. A couple years back, I was visiting Ithaca in upstate New York, and it was my first time ever there. And Ithaca is known for its gorges, the gorgeous, and it's just a bunch of sweet cliffs and beautiful rivers and lakes. And because I was with my friends who had been living in Ithaca for quite a while, they were pretty fearless when it came with cliff jumping. They just boom, took off their shirts, had their bathing suits, and ran up the cliff and then jumped down. Me, this was my first time doing such things, so I was pretty hesitant, and I went up there, and when I started looking down, I got extremely nervous and scared. It's scary. It was my first time jumping from far heights. And after watching my friends do it a couple times, it really made me realize that it wasn't that big of a deal. It was just in my head. I thought it was a big deal, but because my friends around me, they didn't think it was such a big deal, then it made it much more easy to get out of my comfort zone and really challenge myself. I was scared of it, but clearly they weren't. So had I been with some people who had the same mindset as I did, and they weren't sure if they could make the jump, I don't think I would have ended up jumping into the water off the cliff. Just being around other people who were down for challenges and down to face, discomfort and willing to put themselves into serious pain is really, really inspiring. And putting yourself around people who constantly push themselves and constantly get out of their comfort zone is probably the most important thing that I would suggest. Oh, and real quick, I know this is unprofessional, but it's my show and I'm doing it for free. And I forgot to say something really important. When it comes to getting out of your comfort zone, I really think you got to start small. Start with baby steps. So right away, you're not just going to book a one-way trip to Africa or somewhere crazy, I think you should start with smaller things. For example, saying hello to a stranger, or just even talking to a stranger, or maybe it's trying an exotic food, or asking your best friend for $10. Just do random things that get you out of your comfort zone that really gets you started. And then once you start doing those, you'll realize that it's not as scary as you thought. And once you fail, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't so bad. So I really think you should start small and then work your way up, because it'll just give you more momentum to keep getting out of your comfort zone. Because it's like an ongoing thing, just like life. All right, back to the other part. And on to the second part of your question, how do you face uncertainty? That one's a little bit more personal and a little bit more challenging. I would say one thing that I recommend doing is a stoic practice called negative stimulation. And basically what it is thinking about the possibilities in your mind and purposely thinking about bad things that can happen. Because a lot of times when you're uncertain about the future, it can get scary because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know all the bad things that could take place. But when you purposely think about them, and yes, it's being a little bit pessimistic, but not in the way where you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to get fired, all these bad things are going to happen to me, but in a way where you think about it as a possibility, and you put yourself into the position like, okay, what happens if, while I'm filming this, my phone drops on the floor and it breaks? And while playing this in my mind, I think to myself, okay, well, I can go to an Apple store and try to get it fixed, I could buy a new phone, worst case, or maybe I can turn it off and on and maybe it'll work, or worst case, I can find an alternative solution to filming this show. So just by simply doing that and going through the options, it kind of makes this uncertain future a little bit less scary. And yeah, that was kind of a silly example, but when you're talking about work or relationships or travel, when you're dealing with uncertainty, this is one thing that can really help you be prepared for what's to come, because you can think about the bad scenarios and then realize and rationalize to yourself that it's really not that bad. And everything that happens, you can find a way to get through it and face the challenges, but really they won't be so bad because you've thought about them in your mind and you know exactly what to do. But another thing on that note is you don't really conquer uncertainty. Instead, you just figure out how to deal with it and you accept the fact that there's going to be so much uncertainty in life and you can't really change that. So I would challenge you to really think about what you can control versus what you can't. You can control how you react to things. You can control your emotions, you can control your attitude, your thoughts, your own actions, but what you can't control is everything else. And oftentimes, things that get scary when we start thinking about it is because it's out of our control. But thinking about it and getting all nervous and scared isn't going to do anything or help because it's out of your control. So when you find yourself getting tripped up about uncertain things, just remind yourself that you can't control everything, but you can control what you do. So by maintaining this attitude, I think it will help you just be more comfortable and with embracing uncertainty, because no matter how old you are, there's going to be uncertainty in your life. You never know what's going to happen. If we did, like, life would kind of be boring, you know? If we all knew exactly what was going to happen, I don't think it would be that interesting. But if you can just learn to embrace uncertainty and deal with the challenges as they come, but take action on things that you can control, then I think that's the true secret to embracing uncertainty. But that's just my opinion. I really am doing this show not just so I can try to help you and figure out what I think about these things, but also to learn about you guys and challenge you to think hard and ask yourself challenging questions just like these. Because a lot of times we go through life without really thinking about how we feel about these things and really challenging our personal philosophies. So I'd love to hear what you think. George, follow up with the comments. I hope this helped. See if my mom will respond to you again. Hopefully she will. Shout out to my mom. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. This is the Jeremy G Show. If you have a question, tweet it at #JeremyGShow. If you have another comment on this thing, please keep the conversation going in the comments. And yeah, if you're wondering, this is Dalat, Vietnam. It's up in the mountains in southern central Vietnam, and it's a beautiful place. If you'd like to visit, please let me know. And more importantly, if you know one person who you think would benefit from this video, I would really appreciate it if you were to send it to them. You don't have to share it or post it on Facebook page, but if you just know one friend who you think would get a little bit out of it, or maybe you could, talk about this together. I really just want to keep the conversation going so we can have higher level conversations, and we can all prepare for the uncertainty together. All right, that sounds cheesy. With that, I'm going to sign off, and I'll leave you with some cool time lapses. Is that cool? All right, subscribe in the meantime. Peace. 'Cause it's so phenomenal. You guys want some more fun puns? I do. Get it. Yo.